So today's video is for the control freaks amongst us. For people who find it really upsetting when things don't go to plan, or when something goes wrong, or what they had scheduled gets disrupted by something outside of their control. I'll be the first to admit that I'm one of these people. I've got this weird thing where if somebody changes my plans, even if they improve them, I get upset. I get this resistance to somebody fucking with my schedule or something going wrong that disrupts the rest of my day. I have an immediate emotional reaction to that usually leads me to engage in stressed out behaviors that make the thing worse when it didn't even need to be bad in the first place. And I've since recognized this as being a control issue. I have a negative reaction to any form of evidence that shows me I'm not really in control. Luckily, I'm not alone in this. I have many clients who have this problem, and as a group we've actually come together to create a 5-step process for dealing with this when it comes up. Rather than trying to turn off that natural control freak tendency that we have, we're going to change our reaction when that kicks in so that we can behave in a more helpful way whenever things go to shit. Step number 1, prepare by assuming the worst. One of the worst things you can do going into any situation, even if it's something as ordinary as going to the supermarket, all the way through to something as massive as traveling around the world, preparing for it to go well is only setting yourself up for failure. Hoping, wishing, having a very set idea in your mind as to how it should go. It almost certainly is not going to go like that. Even if it goes better than that, you'll be upset because it didn't go the way you think it should have gone or the way you hoped it would go. And one way that you can overcome this is actually preparing for it to go very, very badly. It's what the Stoics would call negative visualization. So if I'm going to the supermarket, I'll just do a little prep where I realize they're going to be out of all the products that I want to buy and I'll have to find some substitute. Or they'll be randomly closed today. Turns out some public holiday I wasn't aware of. Or I'll get there and I won't have my wallet, or something like that. Something will happen that's really going to screw up my plan. And just preparing myself mentally and emotionally for that, so that when it happens, I'm more like, oh, here it is, rather than like, oh my god, why did this happen? This isn't the same as being pessimistic, where you assume everything will always be bad. I think I heard the saying once, hope for the best and plan for the worst. Go into any situation assuming it could go very, very badly and kind of prepare for that to happen, but don't let that stop you from going into it. Be prepared for it also to go well, or for you to at least try and make something good happen, even if it goes badly. Number 2, pause. Stop when you realize you're having a reaction. So there'll be this dawning awareness in you when things go wrong. It might be a short, sharp reaction, or it might be a growing sense of discomfort. For example, I might be sitting there with my plan for the day, typing away on my computer, and my wife comes in and says, oh, actually, can you come do this thing at 3 o'clock this afternoon? And already I feel this kind of tenseness coming into my chest, and it's my warning sign that I'm being surprised with a change, and I don't like that surprise. Straight away, that tenseness. So what I've learned to do is when I feel that tenseness is to stop. And not try to solve any problems, not plan anything, not strategize, just to stop and go, aha, I'm having that reaction. I need to really slow my shit down right now, because if I act quickly on this reaction, I'm going to do something that makes my life worse. This reaction tends to lead to those kind of unhelpful behaviors. So now that I'm feeling that reaction, just slow down time, put down my tools, put down everything I'm doing, just stop, because I need to reset. This is the best point to intervene with this process. If you can get in just as the feelings are building up, you can have the biggest possible impact. You can change the course of where this usually goes into something more helpful and more healthy. The next step is to process it, which means letting go of what you thought should happen, the old fantasy, and allowing yourself to accept the new reality. So there's this handover process that needs to occur where you need to let go of what you thought should happen. Say goodbye to it, because it's done now. This new surprise, this upset, this thing going wrong has changed everything. It's like what's often called the butterfly effect. This small effect will ripple out through the rest of your day and ultimately change your entire life. And you need to come to terms with that before you react to it. If you react in that kind of panicky, try to get things back on track way, you're usually just going to make it worse. You might be able to get back on track, but that's not the step you're at just yet. Right now, you have to incorporate this new piece of information into your reality and let go of anything that doesn't fit with it. So for example, if I plan to go for a run at 5 p.m. and I find out my wife has booked an appointment for us at 4:30 p.m., there's a moment where I have to go, okay, no matter what happens with the running, it's not happening at 5 p.m. That has to die. I have to let go of that. And anything else that was booked around it needs to also be up for change. I need to look at flexibility here. The appointment's definitely happening. Maybe she didn't tell me about it so bad, but she didn't tell me about it. She has now. That's what I know. There's no point in going back into the past, trying to blame or find a reason to be resentful. I just have to come to the reality. I've got this appointment now, and my calendar has to change to fit in this appointment, and that's what I have to face. And until I can breathe through that and go, okay, that's what I'm going to have to do, I can't really move forward. There's no point in me going, well, I have to go running at 5, because that's just not a reality anymore. That's a fantasy, and I need to let that go. Now, the next step is the one that most people neglect, and it's what I call going zero. And this is where you let yourself off the hook from all obligation and pressure to participate or perform. This is an act of acceptance and respect. You need to realize that you never have to do anything. You're not forced to participate in any way. There's no pressure on you to achieve anything other than what you do to yourself. In reality, you can do nothing for a very long time if you feel like it. And you have to be allowed that option. It doesn't mean you'll stay there forever, but it's a way to relax into the new reality. A great example of this is I went to my engagement party a little while back, and there were a lot more people there than I was prepared for. I was a lot more tired than I thought I would be and feeling kind of antisocial. And most of the people there didn't speak English, and I didn't know them. So my picture of what this engagement party would be, this kind of like nice little close-knit group of people I knew, turned into this big party full of people I don't know that I couldn't be bothered talking to. Now, going zero in this moment meant allowing myself the option of just standing still and observing the party all night long, not having to participate, not having to practice speaking Czech, not having to meet new people or entertain anybody. I can just be the loner in the corner all night if I want to. And giving myself permission to do that and actually starting to do that until I could feel that pressure come off to actually do anything beyond just being there. And that's what zero really is about. You don't have to do anything beyond just being there. Let's say you start a confrontation with someone and they react way worse than you thought they were going to. You don't have to fix that, just be there. Stay silent and just listen. Go zero until you feel that you can move on from zero. And don't move on a second earlier. You must relieve all pressure to perform, or otherwise you're going to knee-jerk react. You're going to react in an emotional way, which is more likely to make things worse rather than better. Which brings us to the fifth and probably most important step, adapt, which is to find an opportunity to make the most of the situation. Once you're in that place of zero and all pressure is come off, you've reset your expectations to nil. And now you can just look out and go, well, what can I do in this new reality? How can I make the most of it? I've got this appointment at 4:30. Maybe I could try running at 3:30. It'd be interesting to run in a higher temperature. It might test me a little bit more. Or maybe I'm standing at the party. I'm like, okay, I'm standing here. It's been 10 minutes. I didn't have to do anything. Maybe I'll go sit by the fire. I wouldn't mind sitting by the fire. And I just go looking for an opportunity to make this situation enjoyable for myself. I had a really big one where I missed a flight and there was 24 hours until the next flight. So it took me a couple of hours to get over that particular upset. Then I realized, well, there's a lot of opportunities here. I started posting what I was doing to my Brojo community to kind of share my pain with them and share how I was handling it with them. And then I found there was this lady crying just a few meters away from me, and she was trying to get help from the people who worked there, and they were all quite cold and hostile and just ignoring her. So I went and spoke to her. I thought, well, I'm just sitting here, I might as well go talk to her. Long story short, I ended up buying her some food because she was out of money. She'd just been kicked out of the country but didn't know how to get home. She couldn't use any of the systems, so I let her use my phone to call her husband, and he bought flights for her, and they managed to kind of get out of the situation. So I was able to take this awful opportunity and turn it into a very valuable opportunity where I was very helpful and kind of a hero in a sense, for her at least. And those kind of opportunities are actually available in any particular upset, as long as you're willing to let go of your original plan, go zero, start over again, and then look for something new. And that's it. That's my little process, or the process I should say I've developed with my clients. Prepare, pause, process, go zero, and then adapt. Hopefully you found that helpful. Please subscribe to the channel and share this around if you did. And of course, get in touch, dan@brojo.co.nz if you want more personal support or you're interested in joining the Brojo community to get more content like this. Cheers.